A promise made in a war zone is different from any other promise. It carries the weight of bullets and blood, and the knowledge that tomorrow might not come. When Private First Class Ryan Mitchell asked his unit to protect a kitten before his final deployment, nobody laughed. Nobody said no, because everyone knew what last request meant. Everyone knew he might not be coming back. They made him a promise, an impossible promise. And what happened next tore that unit apart in ways combat never could. Subscribe right now because this story will shatter you. Comment what city and country you are watching from. Hit that like button because this needs to be heard by everyone. This is the story of Scout, the kitten one soldier loved, and the promise that changed everything. Forward Operating Base Kitten, Eastern Afghanistan, November 2011. The base sat 3 miles from the Pakistan border in some of the most hostile territory. In the entire country, insurgents attacked almost daily. Rockets, mortars, small arms fire. The kind of place where you stopped thinking about going home and started thinking about making it through the next hour. Ryan Mitchell had been there for 7 months. He was 22 years old. From a small town in Montana. Joined the Army right out of high school because college was not an option. And staying in his hometown felt like dying slowly. Mitchell was well-liked, quiet but dependable, the kind of soldier who did his job without complaining, who volunteered for extra shifts, who wrote letters home every week even when nothing happened worth writing about. He had a girlfriend back in Montana, named Sarah. They had been together since junior year of high school. She was waiting for him. He carried her photo in his helmet, looked at it before every patrol, reminded himself why staying alive mattered. On November 9th, Mitchell found a kitten outside the base perimeter during a routine patrol. Tiny, maybe for weeks, old, orange tabby with white paws, crying next to a destroyed compound wall. No mother, no siblings, just alone. Mitchell picked the kitten up, tucked it inside his uniform, brought it back to base. His squad leader, Sergeant James Torres, saw him do it. Torres was 31, career Army, 3rd deployment. He had seen soldiers try to bring back animals before. It never ended well. He said, "Mitchell, you know the rules, no animals." Mitchell said, "I know, Sergeant, but I cannot leave him out there. He will die." Torres looked at the kitten, looked at Mitchell, sighed. He said, "Keep it out of sight. If command sees it." "I never knew about it." Mitchell said, "Thank you, Sergeant." He set up a box behind the sandbags, near his sleeping area, fed the kitten scraps from meals, gave him water from his canteen, named him Scout, because he found him on a scouting patrol, because the name felt right. Scout grew fast. Within 2 weeks, he was running around the base, playing with bootlaces, chasing beetles. The other soldiers noticed. Some were annoyed, said it was unprofessional, said Mitchell was wasting time and resources. Others loved it, would stop by to pet Scout, to play with him, to feel something soft in a place where everything was hard edges and violence. Specialist David Chen said, "That cat is the only good thing on this entire base." Mitchell said, "That is why I am keeping him." But things were changing. Intelligence reports indicated a major offensive was coming. Insurgent activity was increasing. More attacks, more sophisticated attacks. Command was planning a large-scale operation to clear several villages, suspected of harboring enemy fighters. Mitchell's unit was going. The deployment would last 3 weeks. 3 weeks in the mountains. No base, no safety, just constant movement and constant danger. The kind of operation where not everyone comes back. 2 days before the operation launched, Mitchell came to Torres. He looked different, scared. Torres had seen that look before. The look of someone who knows, who feels it. Mitchell said, "Sergeant, I need to ask you something." Torres said, "What is it?" Mitchell said, "If something happens to me out there, if I do not come back, I need someone to take care of Scout." Torres felt his stomach drop. He said, "Mitchell, nothing is going to happen. You are going to be fine." Mitchell shook his head. He said, "Maybe, but if I am not, I need to know someone will protect him. Please." Torres wanted to say no, wanted to say that making that kind of promise was bad luck, that talking about dying made dying more likely. But he looked at Mitchell's face. saw the fear, saw the need. He said, "I will take care of him, I promise." Mitchell exhaled like he had been holding his breath for hours. He said, "Thank you, Sergeant. That means everything," Torres said. "But you are coming back. You hear me? You are coming back and taking care of that cat yourself." Mitchell smiled. It did not reach his eyes. He said, "Yes, Sergeant." That night, Mitchell spent hours with Scout. Sat on the ground, let the kitten climb on him, sleep on his lap. He talked to Scout like the cat could understand. Said, "You have to be good while I am gone. You have to listen to Sergeant Torres. I will be back soon, I promise," Scout purred. Pressed his head against Mitchell's hand. Had no idea what was coming. November 14th. The unit moved out before dawn. 60 soldiers, full combat load, heading into the mountains. Mitchell looked back at the base as they left. Saw Scout sitting near the gate, watching. Mitchell raised his hand. A small wave. Then turned and kept walking. Torres saw it. Felt something cold settle in his chest. Felt like he was watching something terrible begin. The operation went bad. On day 3, the unit was moving through a valley when they were ambushed from 3 sides. Heavy machine gun fire, rocket-propelled grenades. The kind of coordinated attack that meant the enemy knew they were coming. The unit took cover, returned fire, called for air support. The fighting lasted for hours. When it was over, 5 soldiers were wounded, 2 were dead. One of the dead was Private First Class Ryan Mitchell. He was shot in the chest while providing cover fire for his squad to retreat. Died before the medic reached him. He was 22 years old. He never got to say goodbye to Sarah. Never got to go home to Montana. Never got to see Scout again. Torres was the one who went through Mitchell's belongings. Found the letters to Sarah. Found the photo of her in his helmet. Found a journal where Mitchell had written about Scout. About finding him. About how taking care of something innocent made the war feel less heavy. The last entry was from the night before they left. It said, "If I do not make it back, I hope Torres keeps his promise. Scout deserves better than this place. He deserves a real home." Torres sat there holding that journal, feeling the weight of the promise crushing him. Back at base, Scout waited. Sat near the gate every day, watched for Mitchell. Did not understand why he was not coming back. Torres tried to explain, tried to tell the cat that Mitchell was gone. But Scout just kept waiting, kept looking. Torres started taking care of Scout like he promised. Fed him, gave him water, let him sleep in Mitchell's old spot. But it felt wrong. It felt like a betrayal. Because Mitchell should be doing this. Mitchell should be here. The unit was devastated. Mitchell was loved. His death hit everyone hard. Some soldiers blamed themselves. Said they should have moved faster, should have seen the ambush coming. Torres knew that was not how it worked. You could not predict everything. You could not save everyone. But knowing that did not make it easier, did not make the guilt go away. And now he had a promise to keep, a promise to a dead soldier, a promise he had no idea how to fulfill. 2 weeks after Mitchell died, command issued new orders. The unit was rotating back to the United States in 30 days. Back to Fort Carson in Colorado. Everyone was relieved. Everyone except Torres. Because he had a problem. He had promised Mitchell he would protect Scout. But regulations were clear. No animals on military transport. No exceptions. He could not bring Scout back with him. He could not keep his promise unless he broke every rule. Unless he risked his career. Unless he did something crazy. Torres called a unit meeting. Everyone who had known Mitchell, 12 soldiers. He told them about the promise. Told them about Mitchell's last request. Told them he did not know what to do. There was silence. Then Chen spoke. He said, "We bring him back. We made a promise. We keep it." Another soldier said, "That is illegal. We will get court-martialed." Chen said, "Mitchell died protecting us. The least we can do is protect his cat. We owe him that." The room divided instantly. Half agreed with Chen, said they owed Mitchell, said breaking rules did not matter compared to honoring a fallen brother. The other half said it was insane, said risking their careers for a cat was not what Mitchell would have wanted, said the promise was impossible and everyone knew it when Torres made it. Torres sat there listening to his unit tear itself apart, listening to soldiers who had bled together now yelling at each other, all because of a promise, all because of a kitten, all because Mitchell had died and left them with something they could not fix. That is when Torres realized something. The promise was not really about Scout. It was about them, about whether they were the kind of people who kept their word even when it was hard, even when it cost them, even when it seemed impossible. Mitchell had trusted them, had believed in them, had died believing they would do the right thing. Torres made his decision. He said, "We are bringing Scout home. I do not care what it takes. I do not care what it costs. We made a promise to a dying soldier. We are keeping it. Who is with me?" 7 soldiers raised their hands immediately. Chen, Williams, Rodriguez, Mendez, Jackson, Parker, Kim. 7 out of 12. The others walked out, said they wanted no part of it, said Torres was making a mistake. Torres let them go, did not try to convince them. You could not force people to care. You could not make someone understand why a promise to a dead man mattered more than regulations. The 7 who stayed looked at each other. Chen said, "So how do we do this?" Torres said, "I have no idea, but we have 30 days to figure it out." They started researching, found the same organizations Mitchell would have found, groups that specialized in getting animals out of war zones. But the costs were astronomical. $6,000. None of them had that kind of money. Most were sending money home to families. Most had debt, student loans, car payments. Rodriguez said, "We could fundraise." Torres said, "We have 30 days. We do not have time." Then Parker spoke up. She was 24, quiet, rarely talked in meetings. She said, "My parents have money. They could help." Torres said, "We cannot ask your parents to pay for this." Parker said, "You are not asking. I am asking. Mitchell saved my life in Kandahar last year. I owe him this." Parker called her parents that night, explained the situation. Her father was a retired Marine. He understood immediately. He said, "How much do you need?" Parker said, $6,000. There was a pause. Then her father said, "I will have it wired tomorrow. Tell Torres that Marine takes care of Marine, even across services, even across generations." Parker cried, said thank you. Her father said, "You do not thank family for doing what is right. You just do it." With funding secured, Torres contacted the organization, explained the situation. They said they could do it but needed 30 days minimum. Torres said, "We have exactly 30 days, they said. Then we start immediately." The process began. Veterinary exams, vaccinations, paperwork, export permits, import permits, health certificates, mountains of bureaucracy. Every form needed approval. Every approval took days. Torres coordinated it all, spent hours on satellite phone calls, sent hundreds of emails, slept 3 hours a night. Chen said, "Sarge, you are going to kill yourself." Torres said, "I made a promise. I am keeping it." Scout seemed to sense something was happening. Became more clingy, followed Torres everywhere, slept pressed against him at night. Torres talked to him, said, "Mitchell wanted you to have a better life, wanted you to be safe. I am going to make that happen. I promise." Scout purred. Had no idea his entire world was about to change again. 2 weeks before departure, disaster struck. The veterinarian in Kabul, who was supposed to do Scout's final health check, got killed in a suicide bombing. Dead, just gone, without that health certificate. Scout could not leave the country. Torres sat in his rack holding his head. Felt like the universe was actively working against them. Chen said, "There has to be another vet." Torres said, "Not one certified for international animal transport. We are done. The promise is broken." But Parker refused to give up. She made calls, contacted every veterinary clinic in Kabul, found one American vet working with a non-profit, Dr. Sarah Chen, no relation to Specialist Chen. She was doing rabies, vaccinations for street dogs. Parker explained the situation. Dr. Chen said, "I am not certified for export paperwork." Parker said, "Can you become certified?" Dr. Chen laughed, said, "You are serious." Parker said, "A soldier died. His last request was to save this cat. We need your help, please." Dr. Chen was quiet. Then she said, "Send me the details. I will see what I can do." Dr. Chen pulled strings, called in favors, got emergency certification in 5 days, something that normally took 3 months. She drove to the base, examined Scout, signed every form, looked at Torres, said, "That soldier must have been special." Torres said, "He was." Dr. Chen said, "Then you keep that promise. You make sure this cat gets home." Torres said, "I will. Thank you." Dr. Chen said, "Do not thank me. Just do not let that boy down." 1 week before departure, Scout was ready. All paperwork complete. All vaccinations done. All permits approved. The organization confirmed. They had a flight. Scout would leave Afghanistan 3 days before the unit. Would arrive in Colorado 2 days after them. It was happening, against all odds. Against all logic, it was actually happening. Torres allowed himself to hope, allowed himself to believe. They might actually pull this off. Then command found out. Captain Morrison called Torres to his office. Morrison was 45. By the book, zero tolerance for rule breaking. He said, "Sergeant Torres, I heard a rumor. I heard you are trying to smuggle a cat back to the United States." Torres felt his blood go cold. He said, "Sir, I can explain." Morrison held up his hand, said, Do not say anything that will force me to take official action." Torres shut his mouth. Morrison continued. He said, "I also heard that cat belonged to Private Mitchell, that he asked you to protect it before he died. Is that true?" Torres said, "Yes, sir." Morrison was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "My son died in Iraq in 2008. He was 23. Before he deployed, he asked me to take care of his dog, a German shepherd named Rex. I promised I would. He died in Fallujah. I brought Rex home. That dog lived with me for 8 more years. Best 8 years of my life. When Rex died, I felt like I finally finished keeping my promise to my son." Torres stared. Morrison said, "I do not know anything about a cat. I have not seen any cat. I have not heard any conversations about transporting animals. As far as I am concerned, nothing is happening. Do you understand, Sergeant?" Torres said, "Yes, sir. I understand." Morrison said, "Good. Dismissed." "And Sergeant, keep your promise." Torres said, "I will, sir." "Thank you." 3 days before the unit left, Scout flew out of Afghanistan. Torres took him to the transport, put him in the carrier. Scout meowed, looked at Torres with confused eyes. Torres said, "I know, buddy. I know this is scary, but you are going somewhere safe. Somewhere Mitchell would have wanted you to go. You are going home." He closed the carrier, watched them load it onto the plane, watched the plane take off. Felt like he was watching a piece of Mitchell disappear into the sky. The unit flew back to Colorado, landed at Fort Carson, processed, through, reunions everywhere, families holding soldiers, children crying, wives kissing husbands. Torres had no one waiting. He was divorced, no kids, no family nearby. He went to his temporary quarters, unpacked, waited. 2 days, 2 days of not knowing if Scout made it. 2 days of checking his phone constantly. 2 days of barely sleeping. Day 3, Torres got the call. Scout arrived. He was at the cargo facility, cleared customs, ready for pickup. Torres drove there immediately. Chen and Parker came with him. They walked into the facility, signed paperwork. A worker brought out the carrier. Torres opened it. Scout stepped out, looked around, saw Torres, meowed, ran to him, rubbed against his leg. Torres picked him up, held him, felt something release in his chest, something that had been tight since Mitchell died. He said, "We did it. We kept the promise." Parker was crying. Chen was crying. Torres might have been crying too, but he would never admit it. Torres brought Scout to his apartment off base, set up food and water, set up a litter box. Scout explored, cautiously sniffed everything, eventually settled on the couch. Torres sat next to him, said, "Mitchell would be happy you are safe. I wish he was here to see this. I wish he was here to keep his own promise to you. But he is not, so I am keeping it for him." Scout purred, curled up next to Torres, fell asleep. Torres sat there for hours, just watching him breathe, thinking about Mitchell, thinking about promises, thinking about whether any of this mattered. 6 months later, Torres got a letter from Sarah, Mitchell's girlfriend. She said someone from the uni told her about Scout, about the promise, about everything Torres did. She said it meant more than he could know. Said Mitchell talked about Scout in every letter. Said Mitchell died believing someone would take care of him. Said knowing Torres kept that promise made Mitchell's death slightly more bearable. She said, "Thank you for honoring him. Thank you for proving he was right to trust you." Torres read that letter 10 times, cried every time. Scout is for years old now, lives with Torres in Colorado Springs. He is healthy, happy, spoiled. Torres never planned to keep him permanently, planned to find him a good home, but he could not do it, could not give away the last living connection to Mitchell, could not break the promise by passing Scout to someone else, so Scout stayed, became Torres's cat, became Torres's family. The 7 soldiers who helped bring Scout home stayed close. They have a group chat, share photos, check in regularly. The bond they formed keeping that promise is stronger than the bond from combat, because combat throws you together, but choice keeps you together. They chose to honor Mitchell. They chose to keep an impossible promise, that choice to find who they were. Was Torres right to risk careers for a cat? Was the promise worth it? Or was it just sentiment clouding judgment in a grief-stricken moment? Mitchell is still dead. Scout is just a cat. Did any of this change anything that mattered? Torres thinks about this sometimes. Late at night, when Scout is asleep on his chest, when he remembers Mitchell's face, when he remembers that last wave before they left, he thinks maybe the promise was not about Scout at all. Maybe it was about proving that in a world full of death and broken things, some promises still mean something. Some words still carry weight. Some people still keep their word even when it costs them everything. Mitchell believed that, died believing that. Torres proved he was right. You tell me if that matters.